Our first question is from Jeff Dittman, and it's for Travis. He would love to hear your journey to beach volleyball. Everyone knows Tri's story, but he would love to hear yours from the beginning to on the verge of qualifying.
Well, hopefully we can lose the on the verge of qualifying soon. We got Austin coming up on Thursday, so hopefully we can lose that one. But my journey to beach volleyball is a weird one. As it is with like a lot of people who didn't grow up on the West Coast, people kind of stumble into it. And I wasn't really any different. Like I never planned to play volleyball. Like growing up in Maryland, volleyball it's not even that it's just a girl sport. It's just like pretty much a non-sport. It's just not, like if it's not football or basketball, baseball, or lacrosse, like you pretty much don't, there's no way you're going to play it.
Maybe in PE, they introduce you to it.
Yeah, so before I moved to Florida, literally my only experience with volleyball was in gym class. I ended up taking the job in Florida, kind of like stumbled across a bar in Florida named Juana's, and that's just what you do there. Like if you're gonna go out, like you're gonna go out to the bar on the beach, and all the bars on the beaches have volleyball courts under the lights, so you just kind of like drink and play volleyball and just like hang out with people and stuff. And I just kind of like fell in love with it. This is SANDCAST material right here.
Oh, I'm gonna get my first what? On the I will trade you a dog.
That dog right there. That's the view we wanted. That's the view we wanted. Some presentation from
Those
Wollaston.
shoes are on. These ones?
This is the last day before Austin, so I'm flying out in like 2 hours. So the focus of today's practice was basically to correct everything that went wrong in Huntington. So I mean, the third set alone, I had 2 bad passes that ended up in points for Norway. I was called for a lift. I don't think it would have been a lift on AVP standards, but it doesn't matter because we were playing FIVB and they called it anyway. Had a block that went right through my wickets. I turned too early. We were up 12-10 and ended up on my side. If I just kept my shoulder square, that's our point. That's the difference between 12-11 and 13-10 in our favor. I had an overset in transition, so today was basically just focused on all passing, small touches, a ton of transition setting, and a drill that I lifted from Gina Urango and the McKibben brothers. Siding out, because I think that with Rafi I'll probably get basically every serve, because he's a way more experienced player, way more reliable, way more consistent than I am. So they're probably going to test me first. So the idea was just get the passing down, just pass, set, hit, good volleyball. So we'll see how it goes in Austin. You know, and obviously, I'm not going to be able to correct. I'm not gonna be able to correct everything in one day, but if you can get 1% better, 1 pass better, you know, the difference between 2 bad passes in the third set is 15-13, which is what happened. So fix what I can, move on to the next one. Hey, is Daddy gonna qualify? Is Daddy gonna qualify? Yee!
Phoenix, we will be boarding by group number as shown on your boarding pass in just a few moments. If your boarding pass does not...
15 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're glad you're here. Welcome aboard.
Nothing too bad. So my tournament is over now, and I didn't want to worry about filming stuff while I was playing, just because I didn't want like the distraction or anything. But obviously the qualifier went pretty well, better than any qualifier I've had so far, and it was a monster too. So Thursday was 64 team qualifier, only 4 make it out, and it was about 100 degrees. So our first match was scheduled for 11:50, but there was a couple matches that went 2 hours, so we didn't end up playing till like 2, and which means we were playing about 100 degree heat with 90% humidity. And the first 2 matches went pretty well. It wasn't the toughest draw for us for our first 2, but then after that it got pretty rough. So then in our third match we had Eric Baranek and Matt Prosser, it's funny, if me and Eric keep crossing paths in qualifiers. So I played Eric in the Huntington Beach qualifier 2 years ago. I played him in the Huntington Beach qualifier a couple weeks ago, and then I played him in this one, and is it funny, so we were talking about that. We ran into each other at the USAV Beach Collegiate Challenge, and we talked about how we keep running into each other, and Eric said something about not wanting to play me because I had his number in qualifiers, and then when I saw that I could play him, I thought he might have like jinxed himself in a good way, that like now he could finally kind of overcome it. And for a while it looked like he would have. Like they had us, I blew a lead in the second set. We had the score frozen at 2019, and Eric picked up a high line and put it away. And then they ended up getting out of the freeze and winning the second set, pushing it to 3, and they went up 13-12. And then Rafi Paulus, my partner, got the most clutch trickle ace I've ever seen in my life. And normally, you know, with a trickle ace, you kind of apologize and say, I've never been less apologetic in my life. Like we celebrated like we won the whole thing with that trickle ace, and then we picked up another. So we had the freeze up 14-13. Same exact thing happened again where they sided out, you know, to kind of keep it frozen. And then I hit a high line, Baranek picked it up, put it away, so now it's 14-14. I don't really know how we got it to, so we ended up switching sides a couple times. No one earned a point. I ended up serving Eric. We had kept it on Matt Prosser for a while because it looked like he was getting kind of tired, but he got in a rhythm. So I served Eric, hit one out, and then I served him again, and he hit that one out, and I hit the net pretty bad. And so me and Rafi just celebrated really, really loud and really fast and just got out of there before the ref could make a call. And maybe it's bad sportsmanship, I don't know, but I got away with a couple calls, including the net on match point, which I don't even know if Eric knows I hit the net. But, so we were in the 4th round, and by this point, I mean, that was our 7th set of the day, our final match against Dylan Merrick and Andrew Dentler, and they smashed us. I mean, we came out super flat, didn't get them out of system at all. We were terrible on offense, terrible on defense. We lost at 21-12. And I'd never been in a match to get in before. And so I was like, great, like this is just the next step I have to take, is to lose in the round to get in before I qualify. But you know, then we kind of had a little bit more energy. Me and Rafi kind of got on each other's cases a little bit about just needing a little bit more energy and just kind of finding that extra gear, because that's it. You know, if you lose 1 set to 21 at that point, you're done, and there's, you know, you might as well have lost in the first round. And so we got together, we got him out of system a lot, played really well offensively, made some good digs and blocks, and we ended up pushing into a 3rd set. And again, we were down 5-2. And that sucked because I just lost in the 3rd set in Huntington in a pretty brutal way. And that's kind of been my MO in Manhattan. I lost in the 3rd set to Brian Cook and Derek Olson, and did the same thing in Huntington. And you know, we were down 5-2. We ended up pushing the score back to 10-10 and getting a couple, and then Rafi had another, he had a dig. I think it was maybe, we were up 11-10, and Rafi had a dig. I set him about 10 feet off the net, and he ripped it. Had another trickle kill for 12-10. Couldn't be any less apologetic again, and we pushed it to 14-11. I hit a jump serve, and I missed it too. It was a terrible toss, so I just did everything I could just to float it inbounds. It's basically a free ball, but it was good enough to be in the seam where there was some communication problems between Dentler and Dylan. So the pass was about 15 feet off the net, so the set was coming over Dentler's shoulder. He kind of spatched it out, and Rafi was going crazy, and I checked the ball mark and it was out, and then I checked the ref to see if they called anything on me, and then the ball mark, and I was all out of sorts. And then Rafi just jumped in my arms, and it was like the most adorable moment of my life. And we qualified, and it was awesome. And like, a lot of people ask me like what that felt like, and I honestly like don't even know, because at some point like I'd beaten all these teams that I had played before, and so you have to like expect it of yourself, but I'd also never qualified. So on the one hand, I'd physically beaten these teams before, so I expected to do that, but I'd never qualified before, so obviously I can't expect that of myself. And it was kind of this weird juxtaposition of emotions, and we sat in the players box, and I just kind of like soaked it in for a little bit, and just like I just needed a quiet moment to like let it sink in. And I didn't even, and neither of us slept. Like Rafi, it was like 3 in the morning, and Rafi was like, "Can you sleep?" I was like, "Nope." 4 in the morning, he's like, "Can you sleep?" "Nope." And our alarms were set for 6:15, so I would say we maxed out 2 hours of sleep tops. so like main draw, we come out and like I am terrible with nerves, but with that main draw, like I was too sore and too tired for the nerves to even be like a huge factor. I was just trying to get through it. It was funny too because we played Billy Allen and Ryan Doherty, and we were up 11-10 at the first technical, and I was like, Rafi, like we can do this. And then we just lost our legs, and we ended up getting smashed like 21-14, I think. So they ended on a 11-3 run to close it out. And like they got us pretty bad in the second one. It was like 21-16, and then we both just immediately fell asleep for about like an hour and a half between matches. And then we had Chase Frischman and Avery Dross next, and first set again we were just super flat. I think we lost like 21-15 or so, and Chase and Avery played really well. Like Avery was blocking awesome, and we weren't jumping as high as we were yesterday or the day before. And I just watching the videos side by side, like you can see like there's a clear like gap in how fast we were moving and how much we were into it, because like we couldn't even celebrate between points. Like we would do something awesome and we'd be like, okay, good job. And then the second set, you know, we pushed it. They had a freeze for match point. We ended up pushing it, and to the point that we had a couple set points on them. I was just bombing serves, just trying to make points go as fast as possible. And I had an ace down Chase's line that ended up giving us a set point in the second, and we just couldn't push it one more. And in a way, like I was almost glad, because there was just no way I had any gas left in the tank for that third set. Like afterwards in the players box, like I was dry heaving after we lost. And so like just like that, it was over. It's crazy, like for a little bit less than 4 years, like devoted so much time and training to making a main draw. And I think our first match was like 40 minutes and our second was maybe 45, and it's over. And it's nuts. And then now it's just, you have to go through that same thing again in New York.
Oh yeah!
Got the Travis swap. Good, Travis.